Dobro jutro, dobrodošli, and welcome back to the second of our recipes from North Macedonia. Now, I've spoken in the past about the challenges of defining the origin and precise makeup of individual dishes, and this is a perfect example of a dish which has hundreds of different geographic variations. The origin, however, is slightly easier to define because the main ingredient comes from Central and South America and was only brought to the rest of the world in the 15th or 16th century. So its origins are most definitely in Latin America, but now we have variations from China to India to the Middle East and to Africa and to most parts of Europe. But today we're going to do the Macedonian version of Piperki Polneti, which translated means stuffed peppers. So what do we need? Well, clearly peppers, and these are the long Macedonian or Italian form of peppers, but you can use the more traditional fatter ones, or you could use green peppers. In Macedonia they would use the light green peppers when they're in season, and they're beautiful as well. But peppers are the core ingredient, and also some onion to go with that. Now, in terms of what goes inside the peppers or the stuffing, and this is where the variations come in, the Macedonian version has minced meat. I've got a mix of beef and pork there, and rice. So they're the two core ingredients which are going to form the stuffing mix. And then we have a range of other items. We have some garlic powder, some olive oil, some vegeta, or you can use a stock cube vegetable, or indeed a beef or chicken stock, some paprika, some parsley, salt and pepper. And then for the sauce which they're going to be cooked in is primarily a fairly simple tomato sauce made with passata and some of the other ingredients here. So that's what we need. So we're going to head more or less straight to the kitchen now to start preparing our stuffing mix. So what we need today is a chopping board, a knife, a mixing bowl, a wooden spoon, a teaspoon, a saucepan, and an oven dish. Okay, so we're now preparing our stuffing mix. So I've got some onion here, which has been cooking off in some oil for a few minutes. And to that, I'm going to add my minced meat. Break that down a bit and then stir it around so it gets a little bit brown on the outside. And at this stage we can add, I've got a vegeta, some garlic powder, some paprika, and some fresh parsley, so that could all go in. Again, give it a good mix around. A little bit of salt and pepper. We're going to cook that for a few minutes. Well, as I was saying earlier, there's so many variations on this dish. In China, they do it with a fish paste, stuck with a fish paste. In Latin America, cheese is very popular, as it also is in Italy. In India, they stuff it with a spiced flour mixture and then deep fry it. And of course, you can do it without meat. You can do a stuffed rice version as well. So there really are huge amount of variations, but you'll find every country in Europe has its own version of this dish. Most countries in most of the world now have it. Right, starting to brown nicely, so we're going to add our rice now. Again, give it a good mix around. And then we're just going to let that simmer for about 10 minutes, maybe 15, on a nice low heat, just so all the flavours mingle and it all absorbed. And then we'll come back and stuff our peppers. Our ingredients for today are half a dozen peppers, 250 grams of minced beef or minced beef and pork mix, half an onion chopped, 100 grams of long grain rice, 2 teaspoons of paprika, a teaspoon of vegeta or stock, a teaspoon of garlic powder, around 200 millilitres of passata or tomato juice, 50 millilitres of water, a tablespoon of olive oil, 2 teaspoons of parsley chopped, a teaspoon of corn flour, salt and pepper. Okay, so we've now got our stuffing mix and I've just taken the top off the pepper, cleaned out the seeds, and now basically fingers are probably the easiest. Just shove your stuffing mix down into the pepper, right down to the bottom if you can, but it will expand a bit because the rice is going to cook inside, so it doesn't matter if it's not completely full, it'll fill up front. And then put it into the dish with the other that I prepared earlier. That's all ready to go. As you can probably see, I did a bit more mixture than I needed or thought I needed, so I've added a green pepper to the mix just for a bit of variety. So now for the sauce, we've basically got some of our passata here and some plain water, to which I'm going to add a little bit of corn flour. You could add normal flour, it'll all be fine in the end, and just mix that around. And then add that to the passata. And then we're going to add the same as we did for the peppers. We're going to add a little bit of parsley, a little bit of vegeta, put a bit of garlic powder and a little bit of paprika. Add that all in to the mix and give it a good stir around. And then we pour it over our dish. It wants to come at least halfway up. Yeah, that looks pretty much perfect. There we are. And then just one little drizzle of olive oil over the top. And that's it. It's ready now to go into the oven. Medium oven for about, I should think about an hour. Ideally, you want the tops of the peppers to just take on a little bit of blackness and burn from the oven, and the most important is they're all cooked through. That's it, it's done, and I'm going to serve mine tonight with some creamy mashed potato to absorb all that beautiful tomato sauce. Enjoy. See you next week.